Scott, you can go first.
All right, so good afternoon. I know my name is Emily Bucco. I'm one of the counselors here in the admissions office at WPI. And so welcome to our session this afternoon, talking about music at WPI. I'm going to turn things over to Josh and Scott, who are going to introduce themselves and share some information about the music department here at WPI.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm Scott Barton. I'm a professor of music. I'm also the Associate Department Head of the Arts. Joshua?
My name is Joshua Rohde. I'm the director of choral activities here. So I work with all of the choirs and I teach a few music courses as well.
So yeah, we'll just tell you a little bit about the music program, and then certainly want to leave most of the time for Q&A. I'm going to share a screen. We actually just came up with a new website for the music division, which I can share with you. And we can take a look at some of the things that we have to offer. So I'm not going to go terribly into the depths of the HUA requirement. I think we can cross that bridge when we come to it, but rather give you a broader sense of what we do here musically at WPI. So we have opportunities for ensembles to play, for choral ensembles, for instrumental ensembles. We have music technology courses and research labs. There are certainly student-led opportunities as well. And really all of these different parts talk to each other. I think the most important part of the music curriculum is you really first, you start out for students who choose their depth in music. They take a bunch of different kinds of music courses, and that culminates in a practicum or a seminar, which is really the culmination of their study while they're here, where you work in smaller groups with a particular faculty member. And so I think the most important part of our program is its flexibility and its ability to let students pursue their particular interests, either in our courses, but also through independent studies and through also through projects that aren't necessarily formal courses or organized formally. And so there's lots of opportunities. We'll get more into them in detail. The ensembles are a huge part of music at WPI, so I'm going to let Joshua talk about those.
Great, thank you, Scott. So at WPI, we have a number of ensembles, and as Scott was iterating, this is just one of many ways that people can get involved. And generally, we break our ensembles into sort of 4 categories. There's choirs, which I lead, orchestra, jazz, and concert band. And then beyond that, we have a couple other smaller ensembles that don't necessarily fit under those 4 umbrellas, but they include our percussion ensemble and our African drumming ensemble. So all in all, for any of the ensembles, be it if you're a singer or you play French horn or violin, or you're interested in jazz or you're interested in classical music, there's a lot of variety. We have our larger ensembles, like the concert band is nearly 100 players strong. But then there's also chamber music. We have string quartets, there's a chamber choir, a small jazz combo, a saxophone quartet, which I think provides a good variety of learning experiences and also a variety of repertoire. So you can, at any given time, find an ensemble that's playing the theme to Super Mario Brothers or playing a Beethoven symphony, which I think is really fun. And it also makes WPI maybe a little bit more unique than some other schools. Not only are we a STEM-based school with a strong music program, but our music program is really diverse and I think really strong. So as you can see on the website that Scott's showing, the 4 main areas are broken up there. And just to reiterate, and Scott, maybe we can put this in the chat, the website, if you want to visit it by yourself, is music.wpi.edu. So all of this information and more is available. So again, that's music.wpi.edu. So for the ensembles, you'll see these 4 large pictures here. With each of them, there's a link to contact the directors. So for me, I work with the choirs. If you click on the link, you'll be able to get my email there and find some more information about all of the choirs. we have a soprano and alto group, tenor bass group, a cappella groups. You can feel free to reach out about auditions or other things like this. And for our other ensemble directors, their contact information is there as well. So ensembles is just one element. To highlight just a little bit more here before I turn it back to Scott, we have, in addition to our ensembles, a plethora of courses. So this ranges from music theory and composition to history. We have courses on the Beatles, courses related to music in sort of a broader humanitarian sense, how it can deal with Alzheimer's and issues like that, which I think is really great. For those who are interested and have never taken a music course before, we recommend one of our 1000 level courses, which we have an intro to music and a fundamentals of music course. But then from there, we encourage you to get into whatever you are interested. Jazz, history, pop music, there's all sorts. And Scott, do you want to talk about the technology?
Yeah, so we have a robust music technology program here at WPI, which would be completely surprising given the focus of the university overall. So there are 3 primary technology faculty, myself, Professor Manzo and Professor Bianchi. And there are really 2 main avenues within which to explore music technology. One is through our courses, and we have courses everywhere from the foundations of music technology to a number of topics courses, in interactive programming, in MIDI, in digital sound. And then there are some specialized courses as well. I teach courses in making music with machines and musical robotics. We have courses in multi-channel audio and in instrument design and modification. In concert with these course opportunities, there's also a number of research opportunities. So I direct the Music Perception Robotics Lab, the NPR Lab. Professor Manzo, he directs the Electric Guitar Innovation Lab. And so there are a number of projects, anywhere from senior level MQPs to IQPs, to independent study projects, to volunteer research projects that happen within those labs. And there's really a connection and communication between the lab work and through our courses, so that there's crossover and synthesis between the 2. There's an amazing jazz history database, which is both a seminar and a research opportunity, originally started by Professor Falco, and which is continuing under our current jazz faculty, Douglas Olson. And so you can see some of the opportunities here. We are also thinking about performance within the realm of music technology, and down the road, we hope to add some ensembles that are focused in that way as well, involving laptops, different kinds of sensors and controllers. So, so that is music research. And then Joshua, you want to say a little bit about some of the clubs and the organizations beyond the traditional academic structure?
Absolutely. So as you can see here on the left image, it says our music clubs and student organizations. One of the things that you see in many of our different elements, this is with the ensembles and also with a few of the other elements like recording and lens and lights or theater, is these are student-run clubs. So it's not just faculty directed, but we generally work with the student board. So there's student presidents, there's student leaders, there's people who are planning social gatherings. For example, my choir is going to go apple picking on Saturday. So it's more than just show up and do this thing and go home. For many of the students, music is where their family is, where their best friends are. These are the people that they end up being roommates with or staying in connection with 20 years after they graduate. And I think a large part of that is because there's student engagement and student leadership. So we encourage everybody to get involved. And if you want to learn more about the clubs, there's a link there that you can see that involves both our music and our theater and broader performing arts clubs. So it's everything from band to musicals to dancing. So all the full-time faculty are then listed in the second box. Professor Barton and I our emails are there along with our other faculty colleagues. And then the third box on the right, the student music jobs, is many of the ensembles, many of the different groups, many of the labs and research opportunities. There's possibilities for students to work in collaboration with these and be paid. So the opportunities vary here and there, but there's good student employment opportunities, which is another good thing to be aware of and apply if you're interested. Great.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing. There are also opportunities for students to combine their interests in other disciplines and potentially in their major, also with music through interdisciplinary senior level projects like NQPs or junior level projects like IQPs or independent studies. And one of the wonderful things about WPI, I usually describe it, as a mid-sized school. It has enough population to really have a bunch of different interesting areas, but it's not so large that there's siloing and it's hard to find the bridges between these different areas. So I certainly have been involved in a bunch of different kinds of collaborations. Part of my research is also in psychology. So we do right now, like for example, we're doing a interdisciplinary MQP between computer science, psychology, and music. Where we're figuring out how it is that human beings do fundamental things like auditory grouping, and then seeing if we can build machine models to better understand that process to enable human-machine interaction. So that's always on the table too. Questions?
Yeah.
Right, thanks guys. So I know for the students that are here, if you guys have any questions for Joshua or Scott, please feel free to drop them in that Q&A. We'd be happy to take some time to answer some questions that you guys might be thinking about. This is great access to some of our faculty here on campus who are far more eloquent in talking about our music department than I. So this is a great chance to do that. Feel free to drop them in there. And I did put both the clubs and organizations and the music website links in our chat as well. Easy to find on our website if you're watching the recording, but certainly right there in the chat for you guys as well who are with us live today. But are there any questions from our students here? Feel free to drop them on in there and we're happy to answer them. I might get the ball rolling if you guys don't mind. I'll ask a question to warm our students up. But one of the questions I get on the road a lot of the times is students who I see all kinds of students from I've never played an instrument before in my life to I've done music since I was in 5th grade. So is there a requirement or a preference, or is it kind of open to all in terms of music performance?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we deal with this every year. We have students who show up and they were all state, for 4 years in a row. They read music perfectly, took private lessons since they were 3 years old, which is wonderful. And I joke that we have some people who come into choir because they heard that we have free pizza, but they don't know which way to hold the music. And I say this as a joke, but it's actually very true. And one of the things that I'm really proud of at WPI is there's a place for both students and everywhere in between. So, for example, in the choirs, for our larger ensembles, the people that have tons of experience and no experience are often standing right next to each other. And we all work together to learn music, to find something that is, both challenging for no matter your difficulty and your abilities, but also is exciting and engaging. But then we also have a lot of smaller groups that focus also on both ends. So if you're, brand new string player, still sorting it out, but you love the violin, you just got one and you want to learn more, there's an opportunity for you to learn more there. Or if you're the all-state player, there's an opportunity for you to play in a special group as well. So
yeah, I'll add on to that. There's also, it's not required that you play an acoustic instrument at all. And there's more and more musicians that we see who have developed their techniques through using computers and technologies that practice in genres like hip hop and electronic dance music and rock guitarists. And so there are absolutely paths for those kinds of musicians too. to both learn that which is not maybe familiar with them, like the world of notation, but also to further the kinds of things that they're interested in by working in various kinds of software environments and using different kinds of technologies.
Awesome. Yeah, good add-on there too. Good to know there's just so many different ways that students can incorporate it.
That's different than it was
Mhm.
20 years ago. So
Yes,
yeah.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I think one of the things that I share when I go on the road is, yeah, you might think of WPI as that STEM institution. And while that is true, it also is equally as true that the humanities matter here. And our students are looking for both, whether they're combining them or they just want to have access to both. And I think the two of you touched on ways to do both, combine them or just have access to doing your STEM and your music. And so there's different options that our students can pursue. But I think for those students, that's an attractive thing to see that you can pursue both of those things in an environment where you get to do it. You get to do it all, which is nice.
Yeah, I think there are other places where I think people feel that they have to give something up. And that is not true here, that you can continue. And what I always say to my students, it's not that if you're not aspiring to be a professional musician, I think that's sort of immaterial, right? Like music can be part of your life, your entire life. In fact, longer than whatever it is the job that you do, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
So I think that's our mentality, right? Like that no matter what your major is or whatever your professional aspirations are, we're very much just still trying to cultivate people who make music in their lives.
Yep, great. That's fantastic. So for the students, I can see you guys. Are there any specific questions or aspects of music that you are curious about that we haven't touched on between just looking at the website and understanding what we offer? Are there any other components that you want a little bit more information on that we can elaborate on? And it's okay if you don't have any. While you've got our experts here, I want to make sure everyone gets their questions answered. We'll let them think about it for a second. I love the website. It looks great. I just discovered that a couple weeks ago when I was checking something out. A student had asked, and I was excited to see the website all redone. So kudos to you guys. It looks fantastic. Great resource for students who are looking to get more information. And both of your contacts are on there. So if our students think of a question, maybe later on tonight or next week, they can reach out to you both directly.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Happy to respond.
Love that. Love that. All right. Well, I don't see any questions, but I do see the 3 students. If you guys think of anything, let us know. But if you don't have any other questions, I am also happy to say we can end the call. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We're so appreciative that you guys spent the afternoon with us to learn a little bit more about music at WPI. Hopefully, you learned some exciting things. I know I always do when I run sessions, but we do appreciate you joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you should you have any questions.
Thank you.
Sounds great.
Right,
Thank you very much.
Guys. Everyone take care. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.